Got it.
Yeah, there we go.
Good angles, good calls. Nice job.
Squid, welcome back to InhaleGamesHQ. You could call me COMM, and in today's Apex video, we'll go over all you need to know beneath the surface of the new season Takeover, which I hope is treating you all well so far. We'll talk about the patch notes from rotations, bug fixes, legend and weapon changes, and more. I'll also assume you've seen the surface video where we talk about arsenals, creator commissions, and meta changes, more of which we'll touch on today, but just in case, I'll link that up in the cards, and remember, everything we talk about today will be timestamped down below to help you find the fact you're looking for. So as we get into it, I just want to say thanks for being here. Leave a like if you learned something new, as a lot went into this one, and heck, even consider subscribing for more Apex content like this. But as always, I just appreciate you for being here, so let's dive in. Firstly, you may have noticed, and as you can see on the screen, the muzzle flash has been reduced, and it's a bit easier to see when firing your weapon. 95% less visual noise below the line of sight, optimized particle count, the cleaned up noise from the shells ejecting and other lingering elements like smoke and sparks, and they toned down light to avoid flickering on weapon and environments. We also talked about how they changed armor, so now we only get to earn up to the purple an extra 100 armor. It's been changed to 1700 damage we'll have to do to earn that purple armor instead of the 1350 it was before. I also mentioned that all the helmets, including the one you started with, have been removed, but they've also added a new mythic helmet to the game, which is now the only way to get the extra 25 armor. So what it does is it sets a player's armor to 125 regardless of your level, but of course leveling still required if you want to get your legend upgrades. These helmets will offer no headshot damage reduction and will appear in mythic bins and late game care packages. Keep in mind the gold helm is still available in the game as well, and they've slightly changed that. It'll set a player's armor to 100 regardless of your level. Leveling still required to get those legend upgrades, and there's no headshot damage reduction there either, but it does offer a cool improved minor healing perk that doubles the output of cells and syringes. These have a chance to appear in gold pins after a bin reset. Due to the kill meta, they had to adjust heals, so here's the exacts on those. Cells now take 2.5 seconds to complete was 3, syringes now take 4 was 5, cells and syringes now stack up to 6, and players now start with 4 cells and 4 syringes was 2 before. Batteries and medkits spawn rates have also been slightly increased. The assault class as a whole got reworked, specifically with combat reserve, allowing assault legends to carry extra ammo per stack, but also now 2 new grenade-only specific slots in the inventory, and they'll also still get the access to red extended supply bins. They also get stowed reload, which, when stowing your weapon, will automatically reload it after just 2 seconds, and lastly, Battle Surge, where when breaking an enemy shield, it'll grant a speed burst, fast reload, and highlight the enemy target. This sounds super fun, and I'll definitely be trying some Assault. Let me know how you've been feeling, especially after the heal meta of last season. Lastly, for this section, I'll just note that they've also increased the crawl speed when knocked without your shield raised. So now we move on to our rotations here, squad, starting of course with our maps. As you know, for pubs we got Kings, Olympus, then Broken Moon, and for ranked we have Kings, Olympus, then Stormpoint. Our gold weapon rotation sees the Alternator, R99, Wingman, 3030 Repeater, and Rampage LMG in rotation. For our ammo and attachments, the hop-up hammer point has been removed. For our gold mag, the time to reload while stowed has been decreased to 2 seconds was 5. For our optics, the 1x hollow has been removed, and for our replicators, they've reduced the amount of ammo to 1 stack per weapon was 2. Our care pack rotation sees the R99 back on the floor, with the damage decreased to 13 was 14, but the headshot damage being 16. No longer has damage fall off, the ADS strafe speed normalized to other SMGs, no longer eliminates movement penalty when equipped, and the recoil has been increased. The PK has been moved to the care pack, with the damage per pellet increased to 12 was 9, and the headshot damage being 135 with all the pellets hitting. The choke speed significantly increased, and fully choked blast pattern is significantly tighter. Pellets now pierce, dealing 50% damage after the first enemy hit. The Havoc is also in the care pack, with the damage increased to 21 was 18, headshot damage being 27, beam shot damage increased to 70 was 53, and the beam shot headshot damage being 105. The Bocek as well is also in the care pack, with the damage increased to 75, headshot damage being 120, the fire rate slightly reduced. They've removed Deadeye's tempo passive, and the Shattercap's damage per pellet has been increased to 13 was 12. Fully moving us on to the rest of the weapons, which if you recall they said was buffo plenty, so starting with the rest of the ARs, we have the Hemlock with the damage increased to 20 was 19, and the headshot damage being 26. We then have the Nemesis with the damage increase to 17 was 16 and the headshot damage being 22. Looking at my lovely R301, with the damage increase to 14 was 13 and the headshot damage being 18. We look at the flatline now, with the damage increase to 19 was 18 and the headshot damage being 25. We are then going to move on to LMGs, looking at the Devotion, with the damage increase to 16 was 15 and then the headshot damage doing 20. The L-Star, with the damage increase to 20 was 18 and the headshot damage doing 25. The Spitty, the damage increase theirs to 21 was 19 and the headshot damage being 26. Looking at the Rampage, it's going to have a damage increase to 30 was 26 and headshot damage being 38. Also note they've reduced the decay rate of the rev state over time. Looking now at our marksman rifles, the 30-30 repeater at a no charge up, damage has been increased to 43 was 39 and at a no charge damage headshot will be 69. The full charge up damage though has been increased to 58 was 53 and at a full charge headshot the damage will be 93. They've also slightly increased the projectile size at long range. Looking at the G7 Scout, it's going to get a damage increase to 35 was 33 and the headshot damage will be 56. The rate of fire is slightly reduced, but they've also slightly increased that projectile size at long range. The Triple Take has a damage per pellet increase to 22 was 21. The headshot damage if you hit all those bullets will be 105, and they've also slightly increased the projectile size at long range. That moves us on to our pistols. Looking at the P2020, it gets a damage increase to 24 was 21, with the headshot damage being 30. The RE45 gets a damage increase to 14 was 13 and the headshot damage being 18. And the Wingman sees the damage increase to 48 was 45, headshot damage being 72, and the base magazine has been reduced to 5 shots was 6. That does move us on to our SMGs. Looking at the Alternator SMG, it has a damage increase to 18 was 16 and the headshot damage will be 22. The Car SMG sees the damage increase to 14 was 13 and the headshot damage will be 17 there. They've also added a laser sight barrel attachment back. The Prowler will have a damage increase to 16 was 15 and the headshot damage will be 19. And then the Volt SMG will have a damage increase to 16 was 15 and the headshot damage being 19. The EVA A tier for our shotguns has a per pellet increase to 8 was 7 and you can no longer deal increased headshot damage. The Mastiff shotgun has a damage per pellet increase to 16 was 14 and also no longer deals increased headshot damage. The Mozambique per pellet increased to 16 was 15 and has a headshot damage for 60 if you hit all pellets. Looking at our snipers, the Charge Rifle base damage has been unchanged, but headshot damage at minimum distance will be 135 and at maximum distance 198. The Autofire headshot damage at minimum distance will be 101 and at max 149. And the limb damage being reduced about 70% was 90%. The Kraber has been increased to 150 per shot was 140 and the headshot damage being 210. The Longbow Sniper base damage has been unchanged, but the headshot damage will hit a 108 and the limb damage has been reduced 70% was 80%. The Sentinel base damage also unchanged, but the headshot will hit 126 and the limb damage there reduced 70% as well was about 90%. They've also removed the Deadeye's Tempo passive. So that's a wrap on all the weapons. I know it was just a lot of numbers thrown at you, but maybe you've been playing and have a favorite weapon that you've been, vibing with. Let me know in the comments down below. But that does move us on to the legend changes, where I mentioned Ballistic and Ash being the focus. We'll get to them shortly, but we mentioned earlier the new perks, Combat Reserve, Stowed Reload, and Battle Surge that are now in play. And as for the support class, the main meta for last season, the Heal Expert buff that allowed double heals from small meds and increased movement speed while healing has been completely removed for the support legends. A few additional legend changes before the big ones, including one to Loba, who recently got buffed to have her market start at 99% charge, has now been reduced to 50% charge from the start. For Crypto, his EMP will now once again destroy Gibby's Dome of Protection, and Maggie her Wrecking Ball, it'll also destroy Gibby's Dome of Protection as well as Newcastle Shield. So now for our big two legends, let's get into it, starting with Ash. Their Predator's Pursuit ability, which allowed them to scan the death boxes and reveal killers, has actually been removed. However, it'll still show the death boxes on the minimap and map with info on how recently they've died. And instead they've also then just added something that you can do and that is press jump while in the air to perform a dash. For her arc snare, the tether plants at location of projectile on impact rather than the hit player's location, and the tether is slightly harder to break and will no longer just instantly get broken by some abilities. For the phase breach, the range has been increased to 100 meters was 76, the travel time reduced, and they've also improved the reliability of placement, removing 1 frame delay on placement preview, and now it has visual effects to show the max range when in the placement mode. As for Ash's upgrades, for level 2 they've removed Murder Machine and 1 Minute to Live, instead moving down Greedy Snare from level 3 and adding in Dual Breach, which gives an additional alt charge, and then replacing what was Greedy Snare is now Ghost in the Machine for level 3, and that's going to add an additional dash charge. So all in all, I think it's pretty cool. I've had a lot of fun actually using her dashes. Let me know what you think so far of Ash's rework, and let's move on to Ballistic. Looking at his sling, the thing that allows you to, add another weapon into your kit, it'll actually just upgrade with you by default with your level, and it'll actually allow you to carry crate weapons now, gaining them that infinite ammo when you ult out. Looking at his tactical whistler, you actually will get 2 charges with it now, and the overheat reaction time has been increased to 1.2 seconds was 1 second. The smart bullet on ground damage increased to 20 damage was 10. And so this damage is going to be equal with a direct hit. And then looking at his Tempest, his squad now is also going to gain a speed boost when empowered by his ult. For his upgrades at level 2, Slingshot has been removed and just integrated into the base kit, and instead new Killing Time, which increases the duration of the ult by 15 seconds, has been put into place. As for his level 3 upgrades, we'll have Extra Bullets, which doubles the number of tactical charges, and Quiet Time, which when you overheat an enemy will now also silence them for 6 seconds. That moves us along into the game modes, which, with the new event that is live bringing Rampart's Takeover and all these R301 variants going until March 3rd, we also have the Commissioner Weeks that we talked about, giving us some challenges and rewards, but also bringing back some modes, including Redemption Trios and Duos, where respawn tokens are now added into the game. This will be going from February 25th to March 3rd, and they're a mythic rarity survival slot item, only in this takeover, where if you are eliminated with it in your inventory, you'll immediately spawn back into the action. At the start of each match, all players are given 1 respawn token. Collect additional respawn tokens from eliminating players, care packages, and mythic supply bins. No respawn limit and no penalty for respawning multiple times. They'll also be usable until the start of the final ring. Then any equipped respawn tokens will be exchanged for Evo and XP. Keep in mind they'll only last a short while they're on the ground, so pick one up if you need one. And of course the respawn beacons will still be able to bring back players without respawn tokens. We also have the Relic Weapon Trios and Duos from March 4th to 10th, where weapons will spawn fully kitted. There'll be only gold and mythic tier weapons on the ground. Sights can be looted and swapped out, but all other attachments will come with the weapon. There'll also be increased supply drops each round that carry 2 mythic tier weapons in them, the second mythic tier weapon replacing the Evo caches that were in them before, and they've reduced the Evo for scanning care packages. We'll also have a standard Trios and Duo session from March 11th to 24th, and while that's running, we'll also have an LTM 3 strikes, but with a fun mystery legend twist. So all legends will be selected for you at the start of the match when entering the dropship, and every time you respawn, it'll be a new legend. Squads can even have duplicate legends on their team, and with each Evo level up, you'll gain all upgrades for that level automatically, and your level will be maintained through respawns. We also have Mixtape through February 11th to March 24th, running TDM control and gun run here, as you can see. And there's just a quick note for the accelerated weapons in Mixtape, they'll no longer be giving the 30% bonus to the ult. But that moves us on to Ranked, where they've added a Road to Rank challenge system, where getting to level 20 as a minimum is still required as one of those challenges. Existing players above that level 20 will retain access to Ranked, but there's now going to be like party restrictions where all players must finish those challenges to actually access Ranked now. They've also, for our last mode in Bot Royale, added a tutorial system. Notes will appear to assist with legends, weapons, loot, and gameplay scenarios. Low ammo or health items also receive prompts to ping nearby desired loot, but this system will only be on by default for accounts that are below level 20 and will turn off once you reach that threshold, or you can just manually turn it off or even back on through the system's menu under tutorial systems. Really quick, they say here that the weapon mastery and trial system has been simplified, and they've removed weapon level restrictions for trials. That moves us on now to the bug fixes. So they fixed an issue where the mythic bin could become merged with a gold bin. They fixed more firing range realm spawning issues, thermite visual effects, Maggie Ball bouncing off invisible doors, mirage decoys getting stuck on invisible doors, fixed rare issues that could prevent the ring visual effects and other particles from spawning, and a mixtape swapping to secondary kimbo weapons from your loadout will no longer play the first animation draw. For the PK, it will no longer occasionally lock up after using the first choke. Rechamber times can no longer be bypassed on the Sentinel and PK by swapping attachments. Reactive weapons will no longer lose their reactive state after swapping. Squadmate animations once again played during Legend selection, and the View Upgrades button in the Legend Locker will no longer take you to the friends list. For some Legend bug fixes, for Alter, Ash, and Wraith, the Void Vision enemy highlighting no longer applies on enemy portals. Alter, her upgrades for Tactical Cooldown Plus and Void Vision return to the correct tier placements. For Lifeline, crashing will no longer occur when gliding or using the dock healing drone. Gliding will no longer occasionally lower performance. And Pathfinder's grapple can once again attach to the dock halo. For Mirage, they fixed a crash that could occur when using Mirage's alt near gravity cannons, and Lifeline's dock should now properly cloak when he does. For Newcastle, the alt no longer cancelled by Ash's snare, and for Revenant they resolved a rare crash that could occur when pouncing. Shadow Pounce now plays leap audio when spectating Revenant. For Watson, they fixed the upgrade that was allowing the placement of 2 interception pylons. For Valkyrie, her tactical now works inside of Dock Halo and near Dome of Protection edges. And for Vantage, sprinting is no longer available while using an ultimate accelerator. Some quality of life improvements next. They added further hardening to prevent hipfire cheats, added account level details, and info about your account level and progress is accessed via the lobby in the top left, and also displays an XP bar and level progress. Adjustments to the match summary, XP gains, challenges, and pass progression added to the end of match flow. Squad summary selection now picks from a small set of stats instead of always showing revives, respawns, and time survived. Reactive skins now show their effects in the lobby menus. Some rat spots have been eliminated across all maps. AI bots can now use cover and peeking behaviors, plus a plethora of other fixes across all parts of the bot experience, including improvements to the tuning of bots on easy and normal difficulty. For some audio fixes, they added a mono output option for players with limited hearing, friendly footstep volume and audible distance reduced, friendly skydive volume reduced, increased importance for zipline attaching and detaching indoors to ensure they are heard. They reduced the volume of squadmate and ambient audio while enemies are being revived, reduced volume for fuses tac and alt, and reduced the volume for survey beacons and ring consoles for yourself and your squadmates if you're scanning them, but if the enemy scans it on the map, the volumes for that are unchanged. As for our graphics, they've improved the CPU rendering performance on all consoles, and the DX12, they've continued to make some improvements there as well, as you can see up on the screen here. But that is, however, everything you need to know beneath the surface of the new season. You know, we talked about arsenals, meta changes, and modes, but deep diving a little bit more into the rotations, weapon buffs, and bug fixes. So thanks so much for watching. Again, feel free to leave a like if you learned something new, or subscribe for more Apex content like this. And heck, if I missed something, let me know by leaving it in the comments down below. And while you're down there, remember all the sources and links are in the description if you want to check out anything that we talked about today, or come join us in the games. But as always, good luck in this takeover. Stay safe, stay gaming, and I'll see you in the next one. Comms out.